Waiting for the thing to say I'm live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to hopefully the last Signalis stream. This game is longer than I thought it would be.
Doesn't look like we're live yet.
No?
No?
No, we should be. It says we're live.
I refresh. No, it still says, oh. There it is. Okay.
Okay. So it told me to leave one slot.
Right.
Okay, I got my rifle. Should reload that. I think we're at the end. It looks like we're at the end, but that doesn't mean we're at the end.
Snoot is online. That's right, chat. Welcome back to Snoot Simulator.
That's a lot of repair sprays. What should I bring with me? Okay. Pistol ammo, and I can bring 2 more things. Rifle ammo. Revolver's got 11 shots. That feels pretty good to me.
Oh, Benedict Idol, thank you for donating.
He did a very good strong bad impression of pizza game fan art to the point I actually didn't realize it wasn't actual strong bad audio until it said the word Rubit in it.
Wow.
Okay, let's take our pistol. Nope. Wanted to reload it. Hate that you can't reload in the item select menu. I think if we're going into an area that has a boss fight, it is most likely to give us pistol ammo as a reload. So I think it's a good idea to bring the pistol.
Okay.
And as my last slot, like, I could bring the revolver. It only gives me 6 shots. Because I can't bring the ammo pack. I'm not bringing my detested flare gun. Shotgun rounds. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the revolver. Oh, but I have 3 stun prods. You know what? That's more valuable than the revolver. Oh yeah, and before we start, now that it's been a minute since the start of stream, I wanted to talk about a thing Vixen and I did yesterday because they came over, and last time we hung out, we tried to see if there were any good like top hottest anime boys lists, and they're like so bad. They all have like Eren Yeager as #1. It's like, it's terrible. Right? Yeah, as #1, and then it'll be like Gojo as #2.
Dude.
So
I take Gojo over Aaron.
So we were looking to see what other options there were, and we found one that was just a generic Smasher Pass, and it was really bad, and like we couldn't tell if it was a joke, and I don't think it was, because they kept doing shit like, it was like, you get like anime characters and it'd be like Goku, but the picture of Goku they would use was like Kid Goku, and it's like, there's so many pictures of Goku where he's an adult. Why would you pick this? And then later on the list, they were like, Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter. And we're like, ew, you'd be a freaks to pick that. Child and disgusting personality-wise. And it goes a couple later, and it's like Bulma and some other people. And then a second Gon Freaks appears on the list. We're like, you already did this! And we said no! And then after Gon Freaks, it does Killua, also from Hunter x Hunter, also a child, but not just Killua, child from Hunter x Hunter. Like, the one scene, he's in an even younger flashback, so he's like 5 in the picture, and it's like, why this picture? And then like,
what are you doing?
And then like 4 more go by, and a third Gon Freaks appears on the list. And we were like, this has to...
I'm just a little freak.
And there was a comment that was like, bro, are you literally Hisoka Hunter x Hunter, considering how many Gons are on this list? Oh yeah, we read that. All right.
Oh, hilarious. Hey, Vixen. Oh, cool room.
Oh, am I not allowed to have the flashlight? Okay. I do not care for how high you have to be on the screen for it to drag the camera.
Yeah. That freaked me out when I was playing.
Shopping list. Eggs. Hello. All efforts to contain this illness have been in vain. All the Gestalt workers have succumbed to it, leaving only dark shadows on the walls and floors where they died. Oh, that's what that was. And soon all of us Replica will have lost our senses and turned to writhing masses of flesh. I now believe it was not an infectious disease, nor some form of poison or radiation. It was a slow corruption of reality itself. As I've relived the same cycle over and over, each time details changed, things are twisted, added, removed. How long until it all turns to nothing but noise? So I got some Prozac and stuff got better. You can read this if you want.
An island beyond reach, memories from other lives, dreams of suffering and loneliness, a promise, a search for someone lost. I saw her in the red emptiness waiting for me. We had made a promise. As the memories of a stranger rushed into my mind, I felt the borders of myself blur. Now I can no longer tell where Falk ends and Elster begins.
I like that in a vacuum people would be like, what an interesting poem, I wonder what it means, and it's not a poem, it's like 100% literal. You must turn back. There is nothing for you there. You've tried so many times and you failed every time. Oh, sorry. I got jealous. Everyone else got to be a girl robot. Don't you see that you're ruining everything? This is your final warning.
We were dancing to that song they start the broadcast with. We fell asleep watching that movie we had seen before so many times. If only I could take us back to that time when we were happy. These memories are mine now.
Someone in chat, I thought that was the snoot for half a sec, not gonna lie, in the picture. I should have read it as the snoot. We were dancing to that song.
Snoot does love to dance.
Why did you return? There's nothing for you here. She'll never dance with us again, no matter what we do. She doesn't even want us anymore. Both of us, we are incomplete.
Let us become whole again. Ooh.
Ow.
Oh. Kicker. Ooh.
Ah, darn. Okay, it doesn't do very much damage.
Looks like there's ammo around.
Yep. Ow. She hit me. She hit me in the face. Ah, I am picking up ammo, and you are hitting me. Very rude. Whoa.
Whoa.
Alright. Alright, controls. That's gonna hit me, yep. Cool. There is like the slightest amount of startup lag on the run button, and I don't love it. I got a spear.
Are you shoving them through her head?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just doing what needs to be done.
I think you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this music's kind of cool.
It would be so nice to have an on-screen reload indicator of whether or not you have ammo in your gun or not. Oh, this is another gun that you just can't reload outside of the inventory screen, like the flare gun. Very stupid. Ow! I'm getting bloomped!
No, not the bloom.
You have to watch out! The snoot will suck up as many bloomps as it can! Bro, whatever. Owie! Ow, fucking stop. Ah! Oh, fuck. Oh, that's gonna hit me. Stop. trying.
This is a pretty involved fight.
I like it a lot more than the other one.
Oh, that's neat that she can do friendly fire.
Could she? Did one finally
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, one. He killed one of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's nice to see. Well, that was a waste
Is the
of my...
audio- Is the game audio glitching out for you too?
No.
Okay.
It's funny that you have to ask, though, considering...
I mean,
No, it makes sense. Oh, I can't carry it.
I
Thanks,
think you
girl.
already have one.
Oh, great. Alright.
Me.
Fuck.
When you have a second, if you could fix the audio. Okay.
Ow. Ah.
Ooh, what did I do?
Come on. Can you be dead? Fuck. Reload while you're walking! Jesus Christ. Am I out? Why don't my guns reload anymore? I don't understand. I'm just a little guy.
You're doing it.
I think I can take one more hit. Nope. Yeah.
That's okay. You know what to expect now.
I know. I just hate redoing a final boss fight. It's like it just
Fine.
sucks the wind out of your sails. Yeah, this is mostly the right loadout. Also, like, you always need to be running during this fight or you take hits, and opening your inventory feels bad because of the way you have to hold your hand to hit shift and tab. What do I have equipped? Submachine gun? Yeah, that's fine, sure. Yeah, whatever. Oh, you guys stay this time. Okay. Hey, man, I think you were supposed to phase out. Whatever. I guess I'll just...
Did they phase out if they're down?
Maybe?
The spear got it.
Thank you. Okay, what can I get rid of?
Thanks, Falk.
Thanks, Falk. Oh, I already have one. What am I stuck on? Oh, hello.
Yeah, get him. Yeah.
I'm just gonna have her clear these out. Fuck. Alright.
The glitch effect is mainly to establish the perimeter of the area.
I know. Fuck. That one was on me. That was bad.
That's okay. One of them.
I actually don't want to get the next area just yet.
Oh, nice, nice. I think there's also a repair spray up top.
Yeah, there's two.
Nice, nice, nice.
You can pick it up at once. I'll say it's cool. I'll let you. You have my permission. Oh, I actually still have some. That's crazy.
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah, this is a much better fight than the other one.
Yeah, the minigame seems sweet.
The minigame is very clear in this one, and I don't really think it was last time.
I think that's the last spear.
No, please use it. Ugh, now I'm gonna take another hit. God damn it. This game. Yam voice. Ah, this game. It's the only shot I had.
Oh, nice, nice.
Be dead. I'm glad they censored this to keep the E rating.
Now we are one.
Hello. You've returned. Are you really willing to go through with this once more? You've seen what happens. This world cannot take much more. This may be our last chance. If you go back, it'll all fall apart. I can't let that happen. Alder, if that worked, then you wouldn't be here. Come on, man. Come on. Bleh. You'll destroy everything. Crazy you have to get through the game without taking any damage to get the true ending. Where you're not fucking dead by the time you get to the ship. Oh, I was joking. I don't think that's a real thing you have to do. Alder's secret poetry stash. Oh, it's full of blood. Is this you or me?
That should be you, because I think it's Alina. Ariana, or whoever it is.
When I signed up for this mission, I just wanted to get away from everything. I was sick of rot front of school, of the photo store, sick of the fake smiles and the whispering behind people's backs. When I saw the photo of that soldier, I wondered who she was. Was she happy? Was her family proud of her? Did her comrades love her? Since we looked alike, could I have been like her? But in the end, I just wanted to leave. Nothing I had done or made ever meant anything to anyone, so why bother? Here I am finally free. I get to be by myself and do what I want. I can finally be happy. Shoots the blood.
Oh, you're we now.
That's cool. Talk to some more of the Elster. Saying words. Talk some more to the Elster unit. She's different from the replicas I knew back home. Nothing like my teachers or the Blockwart protector. I knew she didn't have a choice, but I know she. I don't know why. I have so much trouble reading this game's text on site. I know she didn't have a choice, but it feels like she's also here because she didn't fit in. Like we've run away from the world together. At first, I didn't like having someone around, and I was glad that she's quiet and didn't approach me. But lately, I've missed having someone I can talk to. It's been so long since I've last seen another person. I never thought I'd miss it. Except her, everything is the same in here, always. Nothing ever changes.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Wow.
Sounds like all you guys had was time. Radiation! Had a strange dream. I was listening to that's so annoying. I was listening to the radio with my mother. Like back then, the numbers were on and Mother was taking notes with a book on her lap. It was that book I saw in the shop window of the bookstore where the twins lived, the one with a yellow hooded figure on the cover. When I went there to buy it, it was gone. Erica said the protectors had confiscated it. Or was it Issa? I can't remember. Everything is always the same. I feel like I'm trapped inside this ship. I mean, you are. It's a spaceship. I know every bolt on every panel in every room of it. I've seen everything. I've done everything there is to do in here. I can't concentrate on anything. It's like there's this Geiger counter inside my head. And whenever I try to do anything, I just can't focus. I want to go outside. I want to breathe fresh air. I want to feel wind on my face and in my hair. I think I've lost more hair. I'm sitting here getting older. Every time I wake up, I feel older, weaker, sicker. I get out of breath so easily lately, and my back hurts when I sit down. How much longer will this go on? Feels like I'm just slowly dying. Oh, thank God. I'm tired of it all. Wow, that's a lot of cycles considering you get the death message on cycle 3000.
Yeah.
Every time I go to sleep, I wonder if I'll wake up again. I'm scared that it'll be the last time I said goodnight to her. Did I say it right? Will she be okay? What if one of us just won't wake up tomorrow? I don't want to die. I don't want to live anymore either. Everything is just so exhausting. I just want to lie down and disappear. I just want to sleep. Please, just let me sleep. Please, just make it stop, please.
Didn't keep my promise, despite my best efforts. I eventually fell ill too. It had to end this way.
I'm so used to this gameplay loop that I was like, are these ammo boxes? Like, I'm gonna need one.
It's time. This is all that's left. Go home?
I think that's you.
come back for you. It's me, Elster.
Elster? I'm sorry, but I don't remember.
It's okay. Please, just let me stay by your side a little longer.
Girl dinner moment. Shut up. In my restless dreams, I see that spaceship.
Yikes.
Do you want a spoiler explanation of what happened? I'll take it. I like clarity.
Is that the real end?
I assume they're all real ends if it's Silent Hill style.
There are more endings. So is it that every time you start it up, it just leads to like a different loop and a different ending? Is that how this game goes?
Of the ones I've seen, this one's probably my favorite. Okay.
It's based on player behavior.
Yeah, what are the requirements? Oh, this would be a good fuck you song to put in Name That Tune. Since
Yeah.
it's so far back here. I'm still waiting for that spoiler explanation, by the way. They're probably typing it out. You only have 200 characters.
Someone said your girlfriend was bioresonant and ends up becoming like the eldritch horror that wants you to put her out of her misery, and that's the promise, apparently.
Okay. Why are we able to memory share with infinite looping other Elsters? Elster went on a suicide mission together, and Elster died before filling the promise to put her out of her misery. All the replicas are based on the same person. Yeah, but, like, they don't all have the same memory inherently. Falk's the key due to her bioresonance because she's able to connect to all the other replicas. So, is what's going on that your white-haired girlfriend wants you to come and kill her, so using her, frankly, bullshit, wow, that's a very wide date range for a video game with only one installation, using her bullshit psychic space powers, she death cheated. Oh, I guess it saved me once with Coyote Time. And using her powers, she goos the facility until she takes over the Falk unit. And the Falk unit has enough power to supplant your memory in specifically only external Elster units that it lures to the planet like a Venus flytrap. I still don't really understand how she does that, because that would imply she has access to your memory. And if she, like, I don't understand that part. Like, how does she supplant that? And if she has access and can put your Elster memory of her lover into any robot, I'm just going to assume it can only be into Elsters for plot reasons. I don't know. I feel like if she has access to your entire brain and your memory with her, can't she do something with that? And if she wants to die so bad, couldn't she just use the Falk to take over literally anyone in the facility and kill her? She's not doing it consciously. It's a dying dream. Okay.
Yeah, this seems like a game I would want to wiki binge to get all the clues.
Yeah. So I think the problem is, like, for me, I'm like, oh, like, normally I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a very wiki binge kind of like, what is that all about? Let me check all the essays, and I bet this has a lot of video essays about it.
I did see that a pretty big one came out recently about this game, which was, apparently it explains everything. I don't know, but I saw people talking about it on Twitter.
I'm new here. I don't go here. I think my core issue with this game, because I'm down for like a tragic ending. I like the idea of come kill your eternal girlfriend and she's evil. And I really like the ending of, no, I actually can't kill you. I just want to see you again. This is my selfish ending. I think that's interesting. I think my problem is I find all the bioresonance stuff irredeemably stupid.
I don't know if I find it stupid, but I don't know, it's really up in the air for me. I'm unsure. I don't know what to think of the Falk unit connection. Because they made mention earlier that the Elster units were specifically based off an Elster unit from the Penrose program. So it's implied that all Elster units that existed were the Elster unit that bonded with Ariane.
But it wouldn't have been that. It wouldn't have been that, though, because they died out in space in, like, fucking nowhere. How would they have recovered that unit? And if they got it, why would that be the unit? They're like, this one's in the best condition of all of them we have.
Well, I don't know. They did say that the original archive that had the original person that made Elster got, like, destroyed. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just unsure. And that's not me like condemning it or anything. No judgment. I'm just like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people take this game a little too literally. The game is dreamlike and operates vaguely on dream logic. I don't love that defense because I think you're allowed to be ethereal with your storytelling and you can like lean into that. And I think this one kind of bounces back and forth between something definitely explicitly happened and then back to like bioresonance in between stuff, and it's like, okay, whatever. And like all of the I again, I think all the other realm stuff is stupid, and I think it's boring and takes away from the otherwise really cool tragic lesbian space opera narrative. And like, you've got so much cool fucked up stuff with like that bit at the end, that note that's like, congratulations, you've made it 3,000 cycles. You are now permitted to die for your glorious country. Do not try not to die. It is pointless. Like, that's good horror. I like that part. You don't need to get all King in Yellow about it. Also, anyone know what the deal with that was? What's the importance of the King in Yellow book?
Shrug.
Is it cool to talk about the secret ending? I mean, we're at the end of the game. I'd say just if you know more beats of this game we missed, I'd like to know and think about it and talk about it now.
I mean, I'd be interested in just looking at the other endings.
King in Yellow. King in Yellow was the book she saw at the bookstore. It's a thematic connection. I know, but like, why do we see the book at the start of both of the loops you play through? Like, that makes it feel like it's a pivotally important physical object, where it's like, oh, if only I could have returned this to her. It's the book she never got to see. It kind of just feels like it's just there. And like, so was the thing with Alder, was Alder's thing that obviously he's super dedicated to the Falk unit, and he knows that she's connected to your dead girlfriend by this point. So that's what he's trying to prevent you for, like he realizes she's fucked, but like he's too in his own head, and it's basically it's basically het couple trying to man of het couple in the exact same position Elster is in, and he's like, no, don't fulfill your promise and kill your girlfriend because that kills my girlfriend. I actually like that. I think that's good. I think that's concrete. And like, I will freely acknowledge I like concrete in storytelling. I don't like ethereal stuff. And I can like vibes if they're like peppered in there for extra flavor. I think this has got a little too much vibe on it in place of some actual meat. It's still very good. Also, yeah, no, now having played that ending bit, my two first notes of this game: cut the minor fight entirely. Game doesn't need boss fights. I'm fine with that last one because at least it was a mini game. And cut all of Nowhere. I don't understand why that was there other than they like Silent Hill. And I don't think that's a good enough reason to stick something that doesn't fit with the rest of your story in there. The UI needs a lot of improvement too. Yeah, Maybe it's
You're
better on
crackling again, by the way.
maybe it's better on controller.
Yeah, it's Discord being rude to me specifically, as it likes to do.
I didn't even look at this. Average time between saves 10 minutes. Lol. 56 saves in a Resident Evil game is pretty embarrassing. Well, I wouldn't say literally just cut all the Silent Hill and you would have a perfectly fine game. It has a lot of good Silent Hill influences.
No, definitely don't cut the Silent Hill. It does some good stuff with that influence.
Just so I can walk around. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the twins either. That's something I would need to wiki binge. I'm so sad that we didn't get a level going through like a dream state version of the Rot Front building that you walk through with like the snow in the background and a skyscraper. I was like waiting for that and we didn't get it. And now I'm just like, well, okay, I guess that was there. Because do you want to do a thing where you stream the other endings on YouTube? I'm gonna be honest, no. I don't really want to set that up. Yeah,
What's up with the island? I think the island is just the place where Elster's Gestalt was from, and she probably has like scattered memories about it.
Oh. You do? I don't think it has anything to do with her. I literally thought her girlfriend was painting that the whole time. Did I?
Yeah, but it was mentioned that the island nation is where Elster's Gestalt was from, and that place was like war torn and like cut off for a while.
Oh.
Remember?
No, to be honest, I believe you.
And I would say Elster probably told Ariane about it, and she would paint it. That's my understanding of it anyway.
Okay. Oh, they're real paintings. Island of the Dead and Shores of Oblivion. Both paintings were repainted multiple times by their original creators, copies of copies. Okay.
Okay. That's interesting. That's a cool real world illusion for foreshadowing.
Yeah, like this is Silent Hill influence, and this is good. Other stuff while I wait for more comments. I
think the worst thing that this game does that is Silent Hill for influenced is the nowhere section, which
yeah.
I also don't like. If they were gonna put something like that in there, I think it should have been handled a lot differently.
Yeah, if you're gonna do like the psychic eldritch dungeon, which first of all don't, but if you're gonna do it, then in the same way that like the paintings vaguely allude to stuff and like the king in yellow is an allusion to some of the influences of the story and the themes, then like every piece of the puzzle that you pick up in that area, when the puzzles get weird and esoteric and like Lara Crofty, they all need to like directly tie into something. And like maybe they did, but the fact I feel like none of them did is very bad. Yeah, I said this on a previous stream. Yam and I played through the excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which is like a game that takes place over 3 days and is also Lovecraft inspired at first in a good way, and then later very much to its detriment. And the first 2 parts of the game are like trying to convince people in town to let you excavate this mound, this like ancient mound that's like clearly evil or something, and no one in town wants to talk about it. And that, like, spoilers, obviously. And then the last day of the game, for almost no reason, your character goes from like, I need an excavation crew, or I can't do this by myself. I need to get like the proper authorities to let me in. I need this to be safe. She learns one thing that is not that earth-shattering, and she's like, suddenly I am ride or die. I must crawl into the dark by myself with no light. And it's like, wait, hang on, what? No, wait, what? And you go into the mound and everything is purple, and all the puzzles are now like moon temple puzzles. And it's like, this is a different game, and this has nothing to do with what I was just playing. It's very weird, and horror games love to do it, and I've never seen it done well. Like, even one time. And like, I don't know, even, so like, you know, like the Silent Hill dungeons are pretty esoteric, but like, they do kind of tell, I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. Like, I'm thinking of like the hospital, and like the hospital like has a connection to James himself, but also like a general connection to the town, and you like get like little lore bits and about like this hospital and like the people who are in there, and like sometimes they connect to other things and sometimes they don't, but like they all contribute to the atmosphere of the dungeon and by extension the town. And then once you know all of James's business, like some of them matter for him specifically, so it's all very cohesive. And I think this game is missing a lot of that. Though like a lot of negative poking, because that's what you do whenever a game is like clearly competent, because your critique matters when it's competent, because like clearly they can execute something really well. Like this is probably offhand the best clearly inspired by Silent Hill game I have seen. Usually that's a negative qualifier because people don't get it.
Yeah, no, the people that made this game definitely get Silent Hill.
Better than most, which I respect.
One of the things I think it gets the most is just like, I don't know, the art. Like, this game is so gorgeous. It's gorgeous in the way that Silent Hill 2 is gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like this room has fantastic lighting. It's really cool. Yeah,
Did you see, like, on the desk, there's like red highlights on those on the bottom right desk?
Yeah.
You can like walk in front of them and like your shadow will.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no, like the lighting in this game is fucking excellent.
Yeah, it's really good. Which is like why you want to be like, I want to understand this, and also like, oh, I see where you got these influences from the combat, and I have to say, I hate this game's combat. Like, I really liked it in the first half, but the arc of, I talked about this a little around when we got to the Snoot. I think that it combines RE and Silent Hill combat in a way that does not scale at all, because Silent Hill combat doesn't scale. It never goes up. It's the same the whole time. And Resident Evil combat does scale, and you can't do both at the same time. It doesn't work. I hate the aiming mechanic where you do a little more damage if you are sitting there and waiting for your reticle to get smaller, because you will never be able to do that in combat unless you've snuck up on an enemy. And in that case, you should down them instantly, right? because they don't see you, and you should just be able to put a bullet through them immediately. And it feels bad in boss fights. Picking stuff up and getting hit feels bad. This is a weird thing. I don't like the inventory screen pausing time, but picking up items doesn't. I actually think that it should be both of one way or the other. And like, I think I'd prefer if this didn't pause time. But in my version where that's possible, there would also be no boss fights. Because I like the idea that you need a safe zone to change weapons, or like, and maybe you can do it with the scroll wheel, but like, I don't know. I hate, it's like, oh, okay. Well, give me a minute. What items do I have? Let me think for a second. Like, that's very Resident Evil. But again, Resident Evil is like B horror. It's like big, stupid guns and bigger, stupider monsters. And like the dialogue is hokey and it sucks and it's funny. And Silent Hill is about constant, unchanging dread. And that's why when you click the save screens in Silent Hill, they do this. Because in Resident Evil, a save room has this like beautiful piano music, and it lets you pause and think. You go, thank God I'm in the save room. I'm safe here. And Silent Hill is all about never stopping. Like, you always feel bad. Random rooms will have fucked up, terrible sounds in them for no reason at all, just to make you feel worse. It's freaky. And like, the music in this game is very Silent Hill too. It's very not like Resident Evil at all.
Oh yeah, it's very, guy out back with a hammer banging his washing machine. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, oh man, I had so much trouble with the inventory. It's crazy this is the revised inventory. And I did look that up. I wanted to see like the full extent of it. And like it was like, yeah, there's 6 slots and the flashlight and the eyeball, which we never used, because why would you count as inventory slots? I feel like the eyeball in itself is kind of an admission of failure, where the devs were like, okay, there's gonna be some puzzles on the other side of the map. Well, it'll be really annoying to run back and forth, so let's give the player a way to screenshot in-universe. And it's like, why would anyone do that? Why wouldn't you screenshot your game or just whip out a notepad and draw something? Like, if you're gonna have that kind of puzzle, that's a very weird solution to a recognized issue with your puzzles.
I don't know. I think that's a very harmless addition, personally.
It would be if in the original release it didn't take up an item slot.
True.
In this version, it's harmless. Yeah. And like, I feel bad, like, when people are like, oh yeah, it combines our Resident Evil and Silent Hill in the worst ways mechanically. And like, that's not like entirely true, but when they do bump up against each other in a bad way, it does feel like really bad. I'm not over this screen. I'm not over the inventory. It's really awkward. And I hate that you can't tell how many shots you have left in your rifle. I wish there was something in the bottom right, like you're a robot. Or even if like I run out of the clip, like a little empty above my head appears with that like glowy UI thing. I would like that. Because reloads aren't automatic, which I hate. I don't know. I think combat's really tricky in survival horror. You got to get the rhythm of it exactly right. And it's funny because like, I think this game has a lot more to say and a much deeper sense of artistry than, say, like My Friendly Neighborhood, which is the second most recent survival horror I've played myself. But like, that game is so unapologetically just, it's Resident Evil, that like it does it all right and it works really well. Also, a reload button wouldn't go amiss. There is a reload button. It's R. But you don't use it any other time in the game. Whee! Trying to think what else. Definitely gonna wiki binge this sometime this week.
I'm literally reading the wiki right now.
Let me know if there's anything cool.
Well, I just wanted to know what was up with the Falk unit.
She might bother me the least of all things I'm confused about, actually. I want to know about the twin sisters.
I wouldn't go as far as say she bothers me. I'm just curious about her. Because
I think she was just a unit, and she got infected like everyone else, and it just manifested in a way that didn't kill her because they needed her functioning.
But I don't know, specifically the part where she fuses with Elster.
Oh yeah, that was weird and didn't come up or matter. Falk.
That's what I'm saying. I'm curious.
Falk became Elster. Yeah, explain.
Yeah, but why?
Am I going to do a Patreon review? I don't think I need to, because I've said most of what I think. I think this is a cool game. I'd give it that healthy 7. That healthy 7 of cool. I have a lot of notes. Pew. No use. Yeah, okay, so I'm out of ammo. This should pop up over my head. It's right there. Ariane is just psychically crying out for Elster and overwriting any replica that her mind touches with Elster. No. Falk was still her own person. And if she was overwriting other units with Elster, then she wouldn't have needed an Elster unit from outside the base to come and get her. But Elster is only compatible with those memories, so other units become horrid masses of unthinking flesh. That's very weird.
I don't know, I don't think it's that weird. It's a horror game.
7 is bad in game reviews. Maybe if you're an idiot.
7 is not bad.
How many issues do I feel are a taste thing? Most of the story vagueness is a taste thing for me. I don't like vague stuff. That's a me problem. The inventory, and especially nowhere. I really think this game would just straight up be stronger if you completely cut nowhere. You don't even have to change anything and it still works pretty well. Seven is like medium. No, 5 is medium. That's why it's in the middle. 7 is good, which is why it's higher than the middle. So-called free thinkers when they see a 6 or 7 out of 10 outside of IGN. If someone told me they thought this was like an 8 or a 9, I'd be like, okay. I don't think it's a 10. I would find that really weird. Whee! Click. Ugh. This is mostly only a problem in boss fights, but man, it takes a solid yeah, it takes about maybe 10 to 15 frames to start running after you press the run button, which oh my god, I really hate it. Jello, don't you also hate Yumi Nikki for its vagueness? I hate Yumi Nikki because literally nothing about it is good. Yumi Nikki is a big open sandbox. Like, imagine if someone took you out to the desert and they told you, I've buried 16 eggs in this desert. Find them. and that was it, you would not call that a fun scavenger hunt, right? Pew.
Pew pew.
Yeah, I like Alder, whatever his name was. Adler. I can't remember names. I like so much about the setting. I really don't like bioresonance. Like, even that literal one note, the one, like, restricted note from scientists that was like, scientists have no idea how any of these robot units that power their entire society work, except for some special scientists who leave no notes or any information in this entire game. Bioresonance was discovered by the magic empress from the empire this game isn't a part of. It's like, that's all bad. I don't like a single thing about any of that. It makes me like the world so much less. But, like, I love all the brutalist, awful dog shit. I love that it's like, are you working here and you have friends and family? Worry not. You can give them a portion of your ration marks. Like, it's so awful. To be fair, do you know how your computer works? The people building the computers should know.
I don't think that note was from, like, a scientist. If I'm remembering correctly, that it's just like a fuck off whatever note that is found where people are like, oh, no, speculation, who's to say?
It was a restricted thing. Note that was like, only a couple special scientists have that information. Like a single or double digit number. And I still think that I don't even think the Empress should be mentioned. Like, I don't care about the Empire. It's literally not the country we're dealing with.
Wasn't there something about the Falk units being based on the Emperor? The Empress?
I don't remember that, but maybe. There's an Empress. What? There's the nation and the Empire. This whole game takes place in the fringe planets of the outside of the nation. The nation was part of the Empire, and it split off in a revolution. And the only reason it was able to do that was because it had access to replica units, which then becomes extremely weird when there's a note that's like, the only thing we know, like, no one knows anything about bioresonance, which that's said a couple times across, like, many notes. There's, like, at least 3 that are like, we don't know. Who cares how it works? And it's like, me, I care how it works. At least a little bit. I don't need to know everything. But it's very weird. Because, like, everything that's bioresonant, I feel, could have just been a thing robots can do, right? Like the Colibri units, where they can all talk to each other. It's just like they have a specific radio hive mind that only works with them. That would make perfect sense. There's a lot of radio shit in this game, and you kill them using the radio. So, like, why are they bioresonant? Just make it the radio. And then, like, oh, how does your girlfriend control all this shit? Like, all you have to do is be like, yeah, normally what happens is the replica unit kills the Penrose Gestalt, and, like, after 3,000 cycles, and they just die. But this one had a really unique relationship that they specifically were like, don't do this with your unit. And there were a lot of emotions, and they refused to kill each other. And she stayed in the cryopod. And, like, all you have to do is be like, something, the medical technology that, like, keeps her alive fucked up and mutated. And it, like, can infect the biological parts of replica units, because they're not just skeletons. They have bio bullshit in them. Like, they don't have blood, but they have their own stuff. And Like, that's all they had to do? And I would have been like, okay. But the fact that they're like, who can say what bioresonance is? Perhaps it is a tear in the fabric of the universe. I'm like, get this out of here. This is a different genre of horror, and all you're doing is making me like your cool sci-fi horror a lot less.
So not to be devil's advocate, but I'm of the opinion that that's a subjective take. Not a wrong take, but a subjective take. I don't know. Some people just like that stuff. I don't think they're wrong to.
I think they're wrong to mix it in a way where it cheapens the other half of your setting.
I don't necessarily think that's true. I don't really think they cancel each other out, if I'm being honest.
Ugh. Pew. Pew.
Pew.
Pew.
Pew. Don't call Jello smelly, he just has an opinion.
I don't think it's...
That's not wrong either.
I don't think it's bad to try and fuse cosmic horror and sci-fi inherently, or start your game one way and lead into it another way. Resident Evil does that pretty famously. It starts as zombie horror and then turns into pharmaceutical sci-fi horror. And that's the twist, is that every single monster you're fighting was designed to be sold to the US government. And that is a different kind of horror that makes you go, wow, how fucked up that not only are there monsters, but heavy quotes, perfectly rational people made these monsters to kill other people. And those people, like, some of them are dead, but not all of them. That's kind of scary. And, like, you kind of keep thinking about it. Like, that's two different genres enhancing each other. I don't think they work hand in hand here. And, like, I think the body horror worked. Like, the ooze, when your girlfriend was ooze. I don't understand why when we got to her at the end, she wasn't covered in ooze anymore. But, like, that's fine. I like the idea of the sci-fi turning... Like, that's what I'm saying, like, oh, I could see this being like, here's this horrible system. So it's starting out as dystopian horror in a sci-fi setting. And the carelessness of the people running that through their actions, it has turned into, like, gore horror. But I feel like the cosmic horror elements of this story are not at all in harmony with the sci-fi setting, because I think this would be the same story if, instead of Adler pushing us down the elevator into nowhere, he pushed us down to kill us and we survived and we found our girlfriend and then started the second loop. I think everything about the story would be identical. I don't think it adds anything. I think it just muddles what they're trying to do with the emotional core of this tragic horror story by making it goo.
See, I'm not... So, the way I see it is this game kind of has, like, two major flavors of horror going on. And there's, like, a macro version and a micro or a more personal version. And the macro one is all that dystopian stuff you were saying. You know, terrible, horrible sci-fi dystopia, everyone's lives are shit, and etc. Military, war, blah blah blah. And then you have this more personal horror, which has to deal with all of the replica units. You know, all that identity stuff that was happening, like, you know, they're copies of people, but they're not allowed to be people themselves, but they are effectively still people. And I think that horror meshes with the type of cosmic horror they're going for, because the cosmic horror is in service to the persona of these characters, how they're being like copied and replicated very forcibly, but in like a new, different way, rather than like society creating them. It's like something else is choosing to replicate a very specific set of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's wrong to say that the cosmic horror doesn't mesh with elements of the story. It does. It's just not, the like this the macro stuff. You know what I mean?
I
It's like it's horror either way you look at it, but they're different.
I think that element of the cosmic horror only works in regards to like literally the two scenes where you see your girlfriend, and I'm just like, nowhere was like a solid third of the game. And like that's all like clearly inspired by cosmic horror. The jump into the deep pits, the like, oh, where are you going? Where could this possibly lead to? You just have to keep.
I'm not sure it was, because it was so rooted in like this, prison of the flesh angle. Like, I just kept thinking about Silent Hill the whole time that we were there, and all the puzzles were like, I don't know, weird ritual stuff.
They were irrelevant.
It's like culty, occult stuff, which doesn't read as cosmic horror to me.
Okay,
it's just
then
like,
whatever
I don't know,
you
spooky.
I put that under cosmic horror because that's the kind of iconography people put in the cosmic horror temples in the back half of their game. The put rings on the hand of an unnamed empress or whatever. Like that stuff. Like on one hand, it could like, it's so easy to be like, oh, is this empress related to is this a tie-in to that other actual empress with the bioresonance stuff? Is this a tie-in to Falk? Is she the empress? Is Ariane the empress? No on all counts, as far as I can tell. Like, it's not telling any part of her story. It's just, ooga booga, this part's scary. Now it's Darkseid 2. It's like, I don't know if this is like entirely unfair, but I dislike whenever I can see someone's influences in this, the stuff they like, and they're like, let's do that in our thing because that's a thing that would be cool. And
yeah, I know. I re-listened to your Omori review today.
My what review? You cut out.
Oh, I re-listened to your Omori review.
Oh
today.
man. Yeah, this Omori's on a whole different level. Omori is outright embarrassing in that regard. But like, God, I can't believe they literally just did the ultimate chimera out of nowhere. Anyway, like, that's not bad, because again, you can take stuff from stuff you like and make it really effective. And they did many, many, many times. But like, I can't help but feel like at some point of the early development stages, they went, let's tell a story about this, and then like it probably got tweaked over time and became the story it currently is. And in that initial pitch period, they were probably like, it'll start in a sci-fi base, and it'll end up in, we can do like a nowhere from Silent Hill to like Silent Hill 1. What do we call it? Let's just take the name too, who cares? And they're like, okay, and then we'll like tie it into stuff. And then in the end, it like, I don't think it ties in. I think it's just its own shit. And I know at its core, cosmic horror is the fear of something so large and so uncaring, such as a Cthulhu, coming back and having no reverence for humans, not even thinking of them as ants, like thinking of them as like paramecium. It doesn't even register to it. And the horror of something like that. I know that's what good cosmic horror is, but bad cosmic horror uses the artifact, like the made-up iconography and the artifacts and, like, the spooky book, The King in Yellow. That's cosmic horror. We need a Necronomicon. We need the flesh prison. And I just don't feel like it's there to say anything about the art and the themes they want to explore. I think it's there because they think it's neat. And I think they probably think every aspect of this sci-fi stuff is neat. And I think all of that works. And it bothers me that some stuff made it in that was just neat, but never actually feels like it's a piece with the rest of the game to me. And, like, the idea of a flesh prison, I think they could have, I think that could have been done without having Nowhere, because as you get deeper in the base, it gets fleshier and grosser and darker, and all you need is a final hallway where it's just like as you walk down the hallway, it goes from mostly blood and viscera, and then it's fully goo, and then you get to the cryogenic pod and it's the pulsing heart, which it was. And that would have done that, and that would have been enough. But, like, I don't know. Why was the snoot like that?
You know, sometimes a girl gotta have her whole leggy out.
That's true. The snoot is unrelated to all of this. The snoot was here first. Yeah, I also... Why is she at the bottom of a mine?
I'm not sure how the Sierpinski,
base factors into how, like, why it's related to our two main girls.
Yes, I'm not sure. 'Cause, you know, it might be one of those cases where it's another instance of Ariane rewriting an Elster unit that may have been on the base. Because there's that stuff with, like, Adler saying, like, oh, I have memories of an Elster unit being here, and, you know, there was a point where we requested an Elster unit, but that never happened, and she shouldn't be here, and she's not in any of the records, but I have memories of her being here. Why is that? And I'm just wondering if it's because of that.
This is most definitely wrong, but it feels like she made the planet. Absolutely not. Yeah, honestly, my best guess is that's just a question they don't want you to think about. Because, like, realistically,
I'm not sure about that.
Well, all right.
I think this game wants you to think about it as much as possible, and I think it wants you to look for clues.
It's just...
You know how when you engage with a piece of media and you come away with the feeling like, okay, so that was a mystery, and the writers were definitely going off the seat of their pants. They're just doing whatever the fuck ever to be mysterious. I don't get that from this game. I get the feeling that they had the full picture in mind and are being cryptic about it.
Yeah, someone suggested something, which maybe, but it doesn't actually make sense if you think about it, where it's like maybe after she died and the cryopod died, heavy quotes, they did crash into the planet, like deep into it, and that planet eventually got colonized and they built all of this on there. But, like, then why are all the units, like, they would have only found that thousands of cycles later, hundreds of years at least. So, like, really all the replicant models are exactly the same. The war is still going on. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I kind of feel like that's actually part of the woogity woo stuff, is just like they were really isolated. Something. She's now it doesn't matter. She's not really at the bottom of the mine. She's just somewhere in Sierpinski, and she just got there.
Should we go somewhere where we can get Piff to talk? Because it sounds like Piff has some opinions.
Sure, yeah. We can go in. Let's go in live in JRPG if Piff wants.
Okay.
Oh, Piff's on stream actually. We can join Piff.
Okay.
Oh no, we missed him. Hello.
All right.
We got it.
I'm currently not on stream.
Oh, you're
So
a
there's that.
liar. Okay.
Yeah. I
Also,
do a
hello,
lot.
Glass.
Hi.
Hi. So, for Glass's point of view, because I don't think she knows what's going on, Jello just finished playing Signalis and is now kind of trying to think about the story, and then also like kind of have feelings about the story on what was seen and whatnot.
Lesbians.
Yeah, lesbians, true. So I've played it, had my own opinions, did one of those like deep dives to figure out if I missed anything. Sort of. There was a lot of like names and things I didn't really like connect, but like I think I got a handle on it. So if you want to have any specific questions, I can do that. But in general, I can just kind of tell you how I feel that the story, like what it was trying to tell.
Sure.
So, I think this is generally how it happened. Most things in this particular area is quote-unquote real. So what's happening is that, the girlfriend in the pod, I'll call her, is basically the influence of all of what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her slumber is making this reality. And the only reason why it is actually real is because her consciousness connected up with the like hive mind consciousness and messing with her. And then her consciousness is messing with everyone else's biz.
Okay.
That would make sense to me.
How did they get in the same location though?
So yeah, that one's weird because like apparently she was trying to find like a new world or something like that, and was basically put in some sort of like cryo biz.
Yeah, in the spaceship, because they were flying out into the Oort cloud.
And how did they get here? I have no clue.
I gotta be honest, I really think you're just supposed to ignore that. I really just think that it doesn't matter.
Do you mean like the them going out into the cloud or whatever?
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
Specifically, like I think it makes sense for the Elster and Pod girlfriend are out in space, and they're like, well, we didn't find a planet, and the promise is possibly please kill me, and Elster is too in love to do that and is like, I can't kill you, I'm just gonna keep you in this suffering pod. Kind of funny. Hang on, I want to DM something to Yam really quick.
So
and then they go and they die out in space, or at like heavy
Sort
quotes
of.
die. They
Here-
don't. Okay.
Here's the thing. I think the cryo happened, and the thing is that you're not supposed to like cryo after a certain point. And I think a lot of what's going on is because she is in this particular pod and she can't die because she's basically cryoed. And that's the reason why everything's repeating, why she can't die. Everything is going over and over and over again because she has basically been in this like infinite sleep while slowly decaying.
Yeah, I got all that. My question is, so man, they are zooming in space, and she is unable to die in the pod.
Right.
How do we get on a planet that has a full colony on it?
You can. Well, yeah, go ahead.
So, I will say my theory is that, you're not. In a way. She was supposed to be assigned to that colony, before she, decided to sign up for the special venture. And I think she just kind of, when she was dying, she kind of just like reached out her little tendril thingies
Oh yeah.
and basically got a hold of like one of the other units. I can't remember the names of all the weird things.
Probably
Bas-
the Falk unit that was in charge
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of created a horrible feedback loop thingy where they're both kind of in this weird scape. They're both feeding off of each other in horrible, awful ways.
But like, if most of the location isn't real, then like, why are more Esther units being pulled to it, and why are there other characters at all?
Well, it's been so long. So, like, the lady in the pod can just do that.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason of the Empress, like why that was talked about so much is because she has a special power, and apparently Pod Girl also has that.
Right.
So,
And so
yeah.
her being super far away doesn't matter because she can actually still connect
But-
with the Hive lady.
So the thing is, it's not about her being far away. I'm here for all of that. I do not understand what planet she is on, because she is on a planet. The ship is crashed. And hypothetically, that planet is the same one this base is on. So is the whole base not real?
Truthfully, I think it's all not real.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories, but I would like to posit this. I think half is not real. So remember how you go down in your little crash thing and you like start going lower and lower into like the levels, and then goes into the mind, and then you go into the hole. After that particular hole, you might notice that you are now going, and almost as a reflection, either, I can't remember which direction, down or up, but
Down.
you basically like continue that direction and then just come out the other end on almost a reflection of what you came from at the beginning.
Right.
Sure.
Very sure. Like the areas are how do I put this? Basically, you have to travel through the same. Anyway, never mind.
Okay.
So the actual like them being crashed somewhere, I honestly don't know. That them being crashed, I'm not even sure that's specifically real, or like if eventually their biz just hit a rock somewhere.
Yeah.
I know that there's another ending that is kind of looks like you're on the planet that you crashed on that has like other biz to it that makes very little sense, because I think it's trying to be more Cthulhian in how it's expressed itself, but like
So if I can go here for a couple minutes with no interruptions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through all the options I'm hearing and why none of them work at all for me.
Okay.
So you are both on a spaceship. At some point, you both semi-die. Girl never dies and is in the pod. If the theory is, and like I accept that she can psychic magic to units from everywhere else in the universe. I don't care about that at all. That makes enough sense to me. I don't mind that at all. But if the goal of Pod Girl is to, like, let's say the ship unmanned crashed into a planet, and that's why it's crashed into a planet in every scene in the whole game. If that's the case, and then the obvious thing happened, where this infection spreads, Falk unit gets taken over, this is a real base, how is there a base past the point where they were exploring out into the universe, unless they crashed into a planet and it was later discovered by someone hundreds of years later, in which case I think that's dumb, because technology would have advanced and there would be different units, even though all the memorabilia you find on and off the ship all seems to be consistent there. I find that very strange. So I don't think it's that, because the idea of them crashing into a planet and then building around it is very weird. Option 2, there like is mostly or not at all an actual base, and it's all psychic. Why is the base fighting against Elster getting to her pod girlfriend, if that's what the pod girlfriend wants? Why is there a Falk unit and an Adler unit preventing anything if they're not really there? Because if there's any actual base, I don't understand the logistics of the physical places in space. Right? Because if we crashed on a planet, how do we build a whole colony there? And was there just a ship like in the snow that no one noticed for decades? And it only started becoming a problem after the base was fully established? I kind of just think it's a cheat. And I don't even mean that in like a, this is bad. I mean, like, I literally just think they're like, don't worry about it. The point is that it's a journey to get to your girlfriend. And like I don't like that personally, but I really do think that's what they're trying to do. Because I think the colony was there first. The colony can't have been there first, because they were going out into the frontier. They are the colonizers, and there's nothing past them. That's their whole mission. Why would they be going towards another colony? Did Elster turn the ship around to try and save her girlfriend and crash?
Yeah, my only, like, if I could... Oh, no, sorry. Were you continuing?
I have one more thing, just because someone asked something.
Okay.
Why do we think the ship crashed? Because the game starts and ends in a crashed ship twice in 2 loops.
Every time you see the ship, it is crashed. Aside from the one flashback where it is still in flight.
And, like, if it's not crashed, then, again, why is there a base with a Falk unit and people trying to prevent us from getting to our girlfriend? If it's just our psychic girlfriend grabbing Elster units from other places in the universe, why aren't they just going to the ship and opening it and killing her?
I guess my only thing, like, regarding the Sierpinski, I didn't get the impression that the base, like, the mining base, was trying to keep Elster from finding Ariane. I think it was just Adler who was...
So when I say that, I mean under the hypothesis it's all fake and this is all like a projection of her psychic mind or whatever. Why would it be fighting against her because there are enemies in it? Why are those there?
Okay.
That's what I meant, just to clarify.
Okay. I missed that part, because I think the Sierpinski is real.
I do too, because it's so much stupider if it's not. I'm like 70% sure that the Elster units are being cloned rather than calling the units to the base. What do you mean?
For some reason, I've always thought of, like, actually having the Elster units being taken over by like this
Yeah.
particular persona of the one that was with her, and that one trying to like keep the promise.
Yeah, that's definitely what's happening.
Yeah, it's the Elster unit's persona degradation, basically.
Yeah.
Because they said that all Elster units are based off one unit that was decommissioned that was deployed during the Penrose program. So I think you're meant to infer that it was that Elster. But
I
again,
really
that brings up the issue of like, well, that Elster unit would have had to have been retrieved unless the data is transmitted back remotely, which
again, if it can do that, why send these ships out at all? Like, because if you can just send data back, why are they manned? It's
So okay, so I didn't want to interrupt you.
I just think I appreciate that. I just think I think at some level there is a big don't worry about it in this story. I think there is no way the two characters could have met their initial fate of permanent cryostasis and death question mark on that ship and then ended up on a planet. Whether that planet is part of the nation and they get the Elster unit back, which for what it's worth, I think the idea of taking that Elster unit with the girlfriend complex back, that one being the one that gets put into every other Elster unit, I love that. I think that's super interesting. I don't think that's what happened, but I'd like it to be, because I think that makes for the coolest story and the most tragic one. And if they land on a planet in Sierpinski, that doesn't make any sense unless they wormholed or something. I don't know. I really do think it's just a cheat. And I think it's a conscious cheat. I think they were just like, whatever.
That's kind of why I felt like it was like half that thing, because like them having the crash ship, I have never really thought that particular like spot is real, but now that you pointed out that it's like happens over and over again, that is true. I do wonder about that.
Yeah,
but
and
like,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Like once you hit that hole, once that freaking weird ass hole happens, there's absolutely no chance the rest of this is
everything from nowhere to the red land with the obelisks, that's definitely not actually there. And there's a lot of like like you're walking on the island reading poetry, like that's all psychic nonsense. That I get. But I don't think this story works without the ship crashing somewhere. And if the ship didn't crash, then none of the Falk or any of the other stuff happening to prevent you from just reaching your pod girlfriend would happen. And I think that is kind of the core. We honestly didn't come up with something for that.
There is one thing.
Okay.
So because this is all through the mind stuff, and there was one particular weird note that I kept in the back of my head whenever like they talked about the ship, radiation leaking. There's most likely some sort of like cancer or tumor thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably messing with like getting like it to be like a straightforward, this is how this is going to be, like that there's an actual like blockage there.
Sorry, can you repeat like the last sentence and a half? It like didn't sink in for me for some reason.
Okay, so because there might be actually some sort of like brain tumor or something like that, that the actual like having that goal achieved might have actually had a very literal blockade of like her mental power trying to do something and then it just not working because there's an actual physical ailment of her brain.
Okay.
It sort of shows up a lot more in the like the town area where like things start getting blockaded more.
Yeah, I remember there being flesh blockades. Are you saying that radiation brain cancer makes it so she's like unable to consciously or otherwise make it easy for the Elser she's reaching out to reach her?
More it wouldn't. Okay, go ahead.
I don't think she's actively trying anything. She doesn't know that she has these powers.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. None of that. Nothing makes sense regarding the ship and the planet's location to me, no matter how much I think about it in any direction.
I'm the crashed part. I have no clue.
Yeah, man, if this game, if Sierpinski was like a floating microcolony, then I think it would all work in my brain. I don't know. Why are you still on this? I'm just trying to figure out if this is something Blue Glasses, shut the fuck up. You're always being that guy. Shut the fuck up.
You guys don't like the discussion, you can just leave.
That's true.
I like being that guy. All right, you like being muted then. Oop. Bye.
Yeah, I've also taken some like thought into like why this is happening, what's going on, so on and so forth, and I think they tried to leave things vague enough to keep things open-ended, and honestly, I kind of hate that stuff.
I do too.
But I think they did a good enough job with this one that you can connect quite a bit of the threads they gave you.
There's definitely some cool stuff in this story. That's like the reason I was on that point for so long is I was like, I guess just making sure with using you guys as sounding boards, like, is this something I should ignore? Like, should I just ignore this? And I think the answer is yeah.
There is some like open-endedness to a like you fill in the blanks viewer sort of thing. So there's too many games that did it so wrong that anyone that even comes close to being like interpretation good, and I'm like yeah you did it, yeah you did it.
Yeah. So okay, looping back, what's up with the twins? Like, are they? I saw someone was like, oh, pod girlfriend, something with the twin that looked like her, something. I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that because I just kind of forgot the twins existed and wasn't really sure what their deal was other than to be the Silent Hill 2 Angela character.
Glass, do you remember?
It has been a while, but from what I remember, the twins are the descendants of the original lady that you see in like the picture.
Oh.
Every now and then. They're like the daughters of that lady. And they followed in my mother's footsteps. And essentially one twin got at some point. Because
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens. And then it's revealed that like the other twin just kept trying to find the other twin and then also died sometime along the way. They don't add up too much to the plot other than being descendants of the original lady, honestly.
Okay.
And kind of being dead mostly all along.
I didn't get the impression that they... Did you say that Ariane, the original, was like their mom or something?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case because
No, it's not.
there's a part
Okay.
there's a
Sorry.
part where Ariane talks about like she has a journal entry about Elster where she's like, "Oh, I think Elster is from this place because she has an accent, and it's similar."
Oh, actually,
She says it's either
it's
similar to Issa, or she comments on like Issa has a different accent or something.
it's right here. This note in this room. Actually, it's like,
Oh, is it?
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you could like, wow, you look exactly like one of the two twins. That's crazy. You could be twins. A phrasing that is triply confusing.
I don't think that's referring to the twins. I think that's referring to the another pilot.
Isn't
What was her name? Not Alina Yeong. I think that's who they're talking about there.
Oh my god, I wish every character in this game didn't look exactly the same.
Yeah, I know, it's very confusing.
And
but,
their names all start with vowels.
Right.
That's about Alina.
Yeah, that's about Alina Seo. Yeah.
Fuck. Am I saying all robots look the same? Absolutely, I am saying that.
Yeah, on the one hand, I know it's on purpose. They want it to be confusing because this game is all about like copying people. But it's confusing.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I'm kind of giving that as a neutral statement though. Like you can't get away from the fact that it's confusing, whether you think that's positive or negative.
Yeah, I think in some parts it's really good, and in some parts it makes me go, huh? In ways I don't think I'm supposed to be questioning. But,
It's kind of like how the royal family in Elden Ring all have very similar names, and it's confusing.
yeah. I remember, like, I like Hollow Knight's story a lot, but I remember I needed to figure out everything through a wiki binge after beating it, because I never made the connection that, like, the worm and the Pale King are the same person, because they literally go through a massive transformation and are completely different sizes and builds. And I think there's like 2 pieces of connective tissue that make that clear, and I missed one and scanned over the other. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And then I read the game and was like, oh, this story makes sense. Boy, am I bad at retaining names and epithets and titles.
Yeah, it is interesting in Hollow Knight's case, because on the one hand, that's the piece of information that ties like 90% of the story together, and on the other hand, it's also the most secretive information that they kind of don't want you to find out easily.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I get the impression, and I could be wrong, I get the impression this game has a lot of solid points that the writers knew for sure. And I think they purposefully left a lot of those points vague so people would think about them and talk about them and hunt for them. And I think a lot of those have concrete answers. But I also think a solid 30% of this game is just, oh, don't worry about it. And the mixture of those two being in the same game makes it very difficult for me to be like, I must hunt for the answers because I don't think there are answers to some things. Whereas, like, I hate always comparing everything to Silent Hill 2, but I mean, like, we have eyes. Like, I like that.
It does help that at the end of the day, Silent Hill 2 has a very grounded narrative.
And, like, there's stuff like Angela's entire story is like hunt for it, but it's there. Like, none of that is handed to you. But, like, at the end, like, you know James's deal. You know what's up, and you go, oh, that's what all that symbology meant. And I don't necessarily think it's bad to not be like that, but I do think it is perhaps a little bit mean to be both vague about things you decided and also have things that just don't have an answer. That does bug me personally a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
You okay? You had more?
Not really.
All right. Yeah, I just played through this game, and the thing that I took away from it was, oh, the girlfriend you're with, that's like identical to freaking like an elder being. Like literally, the world that you're in is a dream, and you have to wake her up, and by doing that, you stop existing.
Sure, yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
I'll take that one. Smokes.
That does make. Well, I'm trying to think about Adler too, because Adler is like, hey, stop doing this, you're gonna make the world break. And I don't know if he's just being dramatic, like you're forcing everything to just keep looping, and I'm among one of the only people who it remembers that for some reason, and we're all breaking apart and going insane, which I guess you could describe as the world ending, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like, does it, because like he must know that the reason that this is happening is because Elster keeps going to Ariane,
because he's seen a bunch of he must have killed several Elsters on his own at this point.
Hey,
right.
Have you found his room in the hallway?
Is there one that you don't have to find?
Yeah. So in the hallway, literally in front of you, if you go far enough down and there's a note that says, like, turn back or don't turn back, at that point, just run all the way back to the door, and you'll get more of his notes.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Which one was his?
It might be the first one.
I'll read all of them and then run back. Yeah. Sometimes things are vague. This game does get, like, I really like its, I really like the core tragedy of the lesbians. That's, no matter what interpretation you go with, I think that's probably a thing people, that's cool. I think that's a thing people like about it. Oh yeah, we're back here.
Can you stream again?
Oh,
cool.
I'm sorry, I forgot that I wasn't doing that anymore. Because I've just been wandering in a circle in the same room.
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't take rifle ammo, walked back to this room and picked up the rifle ammo, thus making it impossible to pick up a spear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to read this one?
No. We already read this.
No, this one looks different.
It's not.
Okay.
Since the original neural pattern for the unit was lost with the destruction of the... This is that piece of lore.
Okay.
Based on a decommissioned unit from the Penrose program. Like, the idea of taking the Elster that was in love, suicidally in love with this girl, and making her the baseline so all of them have this easy connection to find their girlfriend and kill her, and they all can't, is really cool, but it doesn't make any sense. They like, even just one line about, like, at this point, hello, Gestalt unit. Now it is time for you to tell your Elster to do this. We will turn the ship around and bring it home to recommission it for parts. You will die, but know that you lived, in service to our nation. And, like, that's all it needed. Like, it just needed a turnaround protocol. But that doesn't make any sense. They never would have found the ship. Yeah, there's an Elster.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw all this. We saw this.
Sort of.
Is it different? Looks the same.
Only slightly. You'll see.
I don't want to read, Piff.
That's okay. You don't have to read. What you have to do is check the other notes around in this place.
There's a book.
Me too.
That's the same diary.
Is it?
Well, the dates are different now, I guess.
Written almost the exact same way, but not quite.
A. B. I don't want to look at stuff.
Adler's Diary. So this is to like really hammer home that like he's also looping, and that's why he always kills Lady.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's not like he like immediately chooses to like kill her and then know that there's another one and kill her. No, he's also stuck in loop. He's like, something suspicious, I should kill her, and then next day, something suspicious, I should kill her.
Yeah. I like the core idea of this game. The two looping couples interconnected, where if one of them's trying to kill their own partner, and that will result in the death of the other's partner, even though both of the partners are in a way where they're definitely dead and will never be happy again and they're fucked, is really cool. That's a great core to your story. Wish the rush was a little more explicit.
Pew. Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Pew pew pew.
I liked the snoot.
Snoop was cool.
Snoot was good. Oh, you know, I have many notes on the combat in this game. Chad, am I crazy? What the fuck is wrong with the flare gun? Does the flare gun just, like, have a fail rate?
I don't know what's up with the flare gun. I tried rewatching footage. I had, like, a theory that, like, I'm not sure if this is true because I never fact-checked it, but you know how enemies can get up? I think they can only get up once, because it seems you only have to stomp them once, and it's the first time you down them. If you down them again after that, they're just kind of down. So I had a theory that the flare gun would fail
if I was shooting an enemy that had been downed already?
Yeah,
but thermite still works.
Yeah. And like, but there were cases where like that wasn't the case. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I what are you gonna say, Piff?
I was gonna quickly say, I actually do have a bit of a beef with this game because there's an achievement to beat it on the hardest difficulty, and then I did, and it didn't give me
Didn't give it to you. That sucks.
And the reason for that is because it needs to be on the default settings of the game to give you the achievement.
What the fuck?
If you expand your inventory,
what the fuck? I mean, that's not the hardest. It has you have one inventory slot. Figure it out. I love the question, why is the flare gun in the game if you have other guns? Seems like a weird inclusion. It's very funny to me. So for Piff and Glass, flare gun, you shoot, it's supposed to be long range thermite, it just instantly downs an enemy. Cool idea for a gun. I believe there were 3 times. The very first time I used the flare gun, it didn't work. It hit someone said you missed every time. I did not. I saw it hit, they reacted to it all 3 times. And they would go down.
There were instances where they would fall over.
But they wouldn't
burn. Like they were dead, but they wouldn't burn.
They wouldn't burn. And I'd have to check this. I could be super wrong. I think what happened is the very first time I used the flare gun was in the room with the snoot. And I shot the guy that wasn't the snoot. And it went down and didn't die. And I went, oh, fuck this gun. It didn't work. And then that was the end of like the second stream. And then I came back and that guy was still downed, but he wasn't burned. And then I tried using the flare gun again and it worked a couple times. And then 2 more times it failed separately. And I know that if I'm right and I'm remembering that the snoot friend was not burned, and that was the guy down with the flare gun. I might be wrong on that, but I know the flare gun didn't work. He definitely came back up later. It's a good flare gun, sir. It's wet. Yeah, and like, obviously, I'm sure that's just a bug, but like, every time I used it, I was like, I'm really backed into a corner. There's a bunch of enemies. I'll take out the flare gun, another gun that does not manually reload. Even if you press R on the flare gun, I don't know what the fuck that thing's problem is. And maybe they disabled it because it can be used as a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher, and it's too easy to kill yourself if you can just reload over and over again. But, I would shoot it into a crowd and he would just go, "Oh, you shot me." And it's like, well, fuck, man, you're still up? What was the point? I tried using thermite on the snoot once, couldn't. Well, the snoot's unkillable. That's not a bug, that's a feature.
Even if you kill the snoot's
Minions.
eldritch girlfriend will reset the timeline, so you have to not do that.
I did look into this game more because I was like, what are the speedrun strats? Apparently, pretty close to every boss in the game. Maybe not the last one. Probably not the last one.
You can thermite them.
Yeah.
Yeah. People told me that. It was never easy enough for me to try it. And also, so many thermite-related things kept fucking failing for me that I was like, I honestly don't want to try it.
It's insane. It's a one hit. Like, you just walk up to them, thermite, and they're just down. And you're like, that... I could just have done that the entire time.
I know. And yet... I actually did try it, but I tried it on the minor boss before we knew, like, to shoot it when its helmet was vomiting.
Yeah.
Which I assume is the window you have to thermite it. And that with the flare gun, which is thermite, not working, I was like, I believe you guys that it works, but it won't work for me, the snoot killer.
I've never seen any speedrunner use the flare gun. It's always the stick.
Mm-hmm. Because the stick is an auto kill.
Yeah. Like, I don't have any clue what a flare gun would do against a boss. Probably nothing, if my guess.
The flare gun doesn't do anything on normal enemies most of the time.
Well.
Yeah. They should add a patch that's just all snoots. That would be really scary, actually. The snoot has so much HP.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good game. I don't like a lot of things about it. And some of them are me problems and some of them are not. I had such a good time in the first two areas. The opening area and the hospital, I thought were pretty much perfect. I really liked those. And then once we got to the up and down area, the one that Alder pushes you into that's across like 4 floors, I liked the verticality of that dungeon, but that's where like the cracks in the inventory system started showing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they did not playtest this enough. And I was like, I'm going to play this as long as I can without switching to the new inventory system. Because I like to play on the developer defaults. And then I switched to the new version because the puzzles in the fucking nowhere area were just like, here's 3 rings that occupy half your inventory. And I'm like, well, just fuck you. Why?
That's a very good question.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of like little things too, like being unable to reload or combine things when you're doing inventory management with a storage box, which can sometimes save you some time because you'll be able to just load shit into a gun and you wouldn't have to bring it into your inventory. But like, there's like a couple things. I'm really glad I played this game after the update that made the flashlight not take up a slot, because I straight up think I would have actively hated it if that was part of the rule. And I mentioned that to Will, and he was like, oh, they changed that? Good.
Ooh. Also, what difficulty do you play on? I'm assuming normal.
Probably whatever the base difficulty is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the harder difficulty is like, you basically don't fight people.
Yeah, I would figure. is harder just changing the HP numbers for enemies, or is it like
It like for enemies
ammo?
for you. I don't know if ammo gets changed. I didn't play on the other difficulty, so I don't know about that one. But I definitely know that like if you get like slapped basically twice, you're just like either in peril or dead.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Can I say a moment that I liked in this game?
No,
Yeah.
good night, everybody.
Oh no! Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Go ahead.
It's so mean.
No.
So when you like quote unquote first beat the game, where it gives you like that fake ending and sends you to the title screen where Ulster is dead. Remember how there was that big like weird cutscene with a lot of like visions and stuff that doesn't make sense? There's a part where it shows a lineup of what I assume is a bunch of iterations of Ariane. But it calls out like Alina Seo, I think, and it shows like the line of girls, and only the first one turns and looks at the camera, and then it goes Elster, and it shows a line of all the Elster units, and they all turn, and then it goes Ariane, and it goes back to the first line of girls, and they all turn. I thought that was really neat.
Oh, that's pretty good. Do I have an interest in Dark Soulsy games? No. Nope. I'm a weenie.
I like them.
Yeah, Amy likes Dark Souls.
I like them.
I like the combat in those.
Me
And-
too.
Honestly, kind of the exploration too. I
Me
wish
too.
just for like ease of access for me, I wish the like redoing your character was a little bit easier, so you can like kind of test out things and kind of like build towards what you'd like instead of just kind of guessing or looking
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I know you started with Elden Ring, and Elden Ring is the one where they made that the easiest.
Yeah, and I
It's
didn't
still
even get
not
it on
that
my
easy.
playthrough.
Yeah.
Like, just real quick, sorry, not to be a whiner. Imagine if you were playing this game with the sound off, like you were doing something else or you were deaf. No idea. The click is the only thing that tells me I'm out of ammo other than the ammo not firing, and you might not notice it in the heat of the moment for a second or two. Sorry, it bugs me a lot. Keep going.
Huh. Nah, this is supposed to be about this game. This is what the people came here for. It's a good.
I love that this stream was like 20 minutes of gameplay and like an hour of talking.
Yeah, I was like, you were ending the last one, and I like tried to like. I was like, that's the end of the game. Like, right
I
there.
knew it was really late for Amy though.
That makes sense.
I do like. I think she could have gone another 40 minutes, but it probably would have made like her next day at work suck, you know.
Oh,
So
that's
like,
fair. It's
Yeah, it was,
extraordinarily fair.
I was already pushing it at that hour, and
we wanted to talk about this, so like,
Yeah, true. Was there anything else that I like? I felt that a lot of the different characters was very confusing, and
Yes.
I think they were trying to do that in a way where like there's a reason why this person looks this way, why this person looks this way, and so on and so forth, because like there's connections between like these particular things. But it made things very confusing for me to understand the first time around.
yep. Yeah, it's a tricky line to walk where you like want to be vague. And I do think this game is too vague. Like, I feel stupid after. It's like watching Dark, terrible Netflix show where it's like a time travel show, and then later it introduces dimension hopping as though time travel is the same thing, and it never distinguishes them. It's one of the worst shows I've ever finished. And like Oz had seen it before, and like kept having to pause and go, Oz, who is this character? And Oz was like, oh, I totally get why you don't know. And like, Dark is way worse, but I feel a little bit of that playing through this.
Yeah. Man. I'm gonna have to eventually, not soon, but eventually get some motivation to try to play through this game again on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, you still want to complete it?
Like, sometimes I just, like, look back at things and go, like, yeah, like, when I feel like it, I might tackle this again. And sometimes that just never happens. But, like, yeah. I would probably, like, learn how to speedrun it a little bit more. But, yeah, I'm interested to have another swing, especially since I know all the areas now, at least in the back of my mind. Because, man, they're very confusing the first time around.
Yeah, I guess just to end this off on, like, good things about this game. Looks really good. Atmosphere is really good, except in Nowhere, where it sucks. I like the lesbians. I think the identity stuff with the robots is really cool. I think it's confusing and weird with the twins, but I think all the robot stuff is really, really cool. I like that the disease is like a biological thing that affects the biological parts of robots, but doesn't devour them entirely and just walks their skeletons around. I think that's cool. I like the snoot.
Yeah.
I thought a solid like 65% of the puzzles were pretty good, which is higher than average for me. I don't like puzzles.
Fair.
I like puzzles. I thought they were okay. Very Silent Hill. Again.
No!
The
No!
landscape! You're supposed to save the environment!
Not destroy it!
What about the ocean? Have you forgotten your purpose?
Oh yeah, the fact you can the healing over time, very confusing. Oh man, I wanted to end this on a good note. God,
You still can. It's not too late.
All right, good night, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.